Hello and welcome, my beautiful friends. My name is Alana Green. For those of you that don't know me, I'm a multidimensional spiritual guide and visionary. I've been on this journey for quite some time, and I've kind of revamped a little bit about who I am and what I do. Basically, it's been a year of discovery of myself. So back in December, I started creating a program. I went through a program, and then through that progression, I created a program called the Sacred Shift. It's an 8-week program to truly shift from who you have been trained to be to who you truly are inside. And I like to say it's like this you are this, when we're born, we are this golden nugget. We are this beautiful version of ourselves. And then as we grow, as we progress, as we expand through our development, our awareness, through all these beautiful things, we then get all of these layers of things. As a child, we get told we're this, that, and whatever. And then as we progress, we get told we take on all these different titles: sister, mother, brother, parent, child, like all of these things. We get told we're all these different titles. And as we progress, we then add all these layers of ourselves or things that we discovered we are, whether we're wealthy or not, whether we're affluent, whether we're people, whether we're morning people, like those types of things. We add all these different pieces of our identity. We attach to these other titles that we're given. And with the sacred shift, what we do is we start peeling back those layers of who we've been told we need to be, who we've been trained to be, who we've become, that aren't truly us anymore. And, when we get to this part of our life where we start discovering that there's this feeling of more within us. I've had a whole series of podcasts around that, specifically of sharing what that feeling is for various different people. I had a bunch of spiritual entrepreneurs come on and share their light, their journey, their expansion for other people to hear and see, and one, not feel crazy and start to feel normal. And two, just to be able to understand there's so many different aspects of life and so many different paths that get us to this part of the journey where we discover further about who we are, and we start wanting to discover when we feel this feeling of more within us. That's our soul, in my mind. That's our soul that's seeking expression, seeking understanding, seeking awareness of who we are within this human version of ourselves, as an energetic being, as a soul, and just discovering what that looks like, what that is for each and every one of us, because it's very individual. Each of us have our own unique gifts, our own unique powers, our own personalities, and and I want to say but for a reason, but we've spent a lot of time creating those identities from things outside of us. And then we get to this point where we start feeling that feeling of more within us. And that's when we're being asked to come alive in our most authentic version of ourselves. And I know authentic's one of those words that kind of flies around all over the place. But it's really, truly, again, going back to the gold nugget. There's this version that we were born to be. And then we've stacked all these other titles and things on top and limitations of all of those things, that society gives us, that we can't do this, we shouldn't do this, or we are this and we are that. We take all those identities on, and then we can no longer express who we truly are inside. And so when we get this feeling of more, this is our soul seeking understanding, seeking full expression of ourselves. And so that's what this Sacred Shift program does, is it really truly lets go of, and you can continue to go through it and it's a process, that you learn so that you can continue to unfold yourselves to become that beautiful gold nugget that's in each and every one of us that we get to be. And so that's the start of the conversation. But what I want to continue here in this sacred circle of spiritual warriors, I want to talk a little bit about what those things mean for me and what this platform means to me. Like I said, over the last year, I've gone through this process of unfolding, of discovering who I truly am and wondering who I am. I've actually changed, if any videos that you that follow or watching that have ever heard of human design. It's really interesting that the last few years, when I first got my human design done for me, read for me, I was a generator, because it's based on your birth date, your time, your place you were born, all of the beautiful things. And what I didn't know, I just assumed I had an idea of when I was born. And then when I found out further when I'm actually born, it was a different time of the day. So when I did my reading, I originally thought I was in the afternoon, and when I found out I was born in the morning, well, that shifted things. I was used to be a generator with I can't remember the full profile at the time, but I feel like it was a 2, 4 or something. Anyway, and when I did with the actual time, I found out I'm a manifesting generator, which made so much more sense to me because I've always been a doer, so that fit. But then the manifesting part, I was creating ideas and didn't understand. And for those of you that don't know what human design is you're hearing these words for the first time, you're like, what are you talking about? That's okay. You could totally Google it or chat GPT it and it will break it down for you. But a manifesting generator is an idea creator, but also has the energy of a generator, which is a doer. And so I've had all those things and I couldn't quite figure out why I didn't fit into it. So again, another piece of myself. And this is the whole purpose of understanding ourselves further, of playing this game of who am I? Because even as I started my journey, there was very much like I needed to give myself a title. I talk about being a spiritual or multidimensional guide. That's what fits today. And it's been an unfolding of different titles, different identities that I've kind of tried to fit into myself or for myself. And this last year, I've really truly gone into allowing myself to feel into it and discovering who I am. Because I was putting my business in front and I was trying to lead with my business. But when you don't truly know who you are, it's really hard to do that because you try to fit everyone else's mold. And so I've literally spent the last year unshedding some of those identities or boxes that I tried to fit in and didn't quite fit into and couldn't quite figure out why I didn't fit into them. It's because I didn't truly dive deeper into who I was. And not that I'm done. I definitely am not, but I've spent the last 8 to 10 months truly digging into who that is and what it is. And that's where this whole platform, I revamped it a little while ago with different branding, used to be specifically around that feeling of more, um, that podcast. But then it was like Coach Alana Green. And then now it's Spirit or Sacred Circle for Spiritual Warriors, which I did a 10-day training in here about becoming a spiritual warrior. And I still have a belief in that, but it's also about the unfolding of us. And it's much more gentler than I was kind of feeling at the beginning when I first created that title. And it works out to be more of us coming home to ourselves. And that's what I feel like I've been doing for the last 10 months, is truly discovering who I am in my home and my sacred space of myself. And so that's what I'm opening this platform up to be. It's just a conversation around the unfolding of us and coming home to ourselves. And even what a spiritual warrior is, because in my mind, when we first talk about spiritual warrior, when you think about warrior, you think about a, somebody who is strong and like boldly actioning, moving forward and creating this like battlefield. And like, these are the words that kind of come in. But a spiritual warrior in my mind isn't so much about the battlefield and fighting the good fight. It is more about holding the line of your own truth and what our world should be. And we can look at our world right now and think of all the chaos and fear and anxiety and strife that's going on in the world. But that's not what we're here for. Those of us that are spiritual warriors, and I say that in a very loose and a term of just someone who is conscious. You don't have to be providing services. You don't have to be a healer. You don't have to be anything, but anybody that is consciously aware and who is beginning to become consciously aware, in my mind, is a spiritual warrior, because we are the ones that are leading that line, the front line, if you will. But it's like of that line of unconditional love, of recognizing and seeing one another and helping each other beings feel seen and heard and understood. And to me, that's what it is and then also in that, when we come home to ourselves and this truest golden nugget version of ourselves, who we've been born to be, that we allow other people to do the same. We are giving permission to others to then start questioning who they are truly on the inside, not just who they think they are, who they've been trained to be, or the mold that they thought they fit into. But the more of us that become consciously aware and just do the work for ourselves and discover who we truly are and what feels good for us, the more we're allowing opportunity and inspiring others to do the same. So that's what I'm creating this platform for. And I'm more than happy to have anybody come on and share some of their story as we move forward. So if you're interested, drop a comment. And I would love to have some guest speakers come on here and do a little back and forth around this conversation. I love interviews and I love having conversation with people and opening the space up for community, because as light bringers, like I said, anybody that's aware and spiritually feeling led, as light bringers, we are here to bring light. And I tell a lot of people this: we are here to bring the light and the salt, right? I mean, if you go to one of the quotes in the Bible, I am not quoting anything from the Bible because I can't tell you what verse it came from, but um, we get to truly understand who we are. And sometimes we'll share it and it may activate or challenge others. And that's okay, because when we activate and we challenge other people, it gets them to start questioning who they are and understanding and feeling into their own truth. So even if you agree or disagree, that's totally okay, because your truth is yours. It's not meant for me, it's meant for you, and that's okay. And this is where the spiritual warrior comes in, is holding the line of, when my truth is okay, but so is yours, and loving people unconditionally because of that, because they have their own truth. And even if it's the opposite of me, even if you hate me, that's okay, because that's your truth. And you're allowed to have that just as much as I'm allowed to have my own. So that's what a spiritual warrior is for me, is the space that we know is shifting in this world and the chaos. But the more of us that come into our own truth and understanding and our own power, then we shed light for those that need it, for those that are in fear. And we allow space and hold space for others that really truly let us become who we are too, right? Anyway, and one of the things I wanted to share within this too was within this first conversation. And if you have any questions, or if you want anything you wanted me to share about, please feel free again to drop in the comments. And just thank you so much for joining and watching along. But one of the things I wanted to share was, the earth is shifting, the world, the vision, what's happening is happening on purpose. COVID, 2020, everything that's happened since is happening for a reason. It's happening for all of us to wake up to the system. Not that I'm here to kibosh the system, because I'm also part of the system. I'm a military member. But it's about awakening to who we are, our own truth, and knowing it's okay for other people to have their truth and what feels right for them. Um, but it's about unconditional love. It's about letting others feel what they want to feel, process what they need to process, understand what they need to be understanding. And when we tap into that, we are bringing more light, more love, more connection to this world, which is what we currently need. We're seeing the contrast because it's meant to bring out more light. It's meant to bring out more love. It's meant to feel uncomfortable so we can choose what feels better. If we didn't have the contrast, if we didn't have the darkness, we wouldn't know light and joy. So this is what we're here for, is to have this purpose of being able to share our light, our love, our expression of our fullest self in the world. And the more we can embrace that for ourselves, the more we're letting other people embrace it for themselves as well. This world is shifting, and we can choose to be resistant to it, or we can choose to just decide who we want to be in it. And that's the power that each one of us has. We have the power of choice. We get to choose who that version, what version we're showing to the world, what version we're expressing to the world. And yeah, we get to do that. We get to be the light. We get to be the love. And we get to choose that. And I think I'm kind of rambling now, so I guess we'll end here for today. Um, but I'm just so happy because I've been sitting on this for a while of how I'm going to express and where I'm going to express. And I relocated myself in different places in my house. And this is where I decided it felt good. And I've already created this space, so why would I need another one? Um, but it's allowing ourselves to feel into it. And that's what I've been doing for this last 6 months, 10 months, I guess, is letting myself feel into who I am and my full expression. And now that I'm kind of feeling into it, I get to express it to you and hopefully be an inspiration to anyone else who's on this journey. So if you feel called, you're more than welcome to subscribe, share, and take other people along this journey with us. This is a sacred circle, not just for me, but for all of us to allow you to feel into what feels good for you and allow you to dabble in what it could be. I was actually having one more little tangent I wanted to share too, I guess, was around the multidimensional guide. And um, I've identified with ADHD and the fact that I might have that diagnosis. Never been diagnosed in my life. But I feel like I have definitely tingencies along that line. So, with somebody with that kind of label or title or whatever you want to call it, we tend to feel like we have minds whirling on multiple different levels and thinking about 5 different things at once and having conversations going on in our head, right? So this is where I feel like multidimensional fits, but also we are multidimensional. We are energetic beings in a physical body experiencing feeling. So we physically, on a physical level, are multidimensional. We think, we feel, we hear, we see, we touch. We have all of these senses, which are multidimensional, like on multiple layers, um, multiple different ways we can experience. We feel things, we hear things, we sense things. Our intuition guides us. Um, we could also talk about being multidimensional as in multi-universal, like as in maybe there's different dimensions in the world and we get to play with all these things. And that's what I mean by multidimensional guide. We are all interdimensional in so many ways that we can't even fathom, I don't think. When we tap into our brain, I also have studied Dr. Joe Dispenza for an awfully long time. And one of the things that I love about his work is that one of the things he talks about is that we have so many, like within our DNA, we have so many genes and so many things within our DNA and aspects of our mind that we have not yet tapped into. And as humans, as evolving beings, we would let go of the things we no longer need, generally speaking. But there's genes, there's pieces within us in our DNA that we're holding on to, we're not utilizing yet, but we still have them within us. So here's my question. Why are we still holding on to those? Because there's potential that we have yet to tap into, because there's so much within us that we have yet to discover, that us as energetic human beings, the power of the mind that we can tap into. There's a whole other conversation here around, um, beings that have been here or in imagination or in reality in history when we're talking about Lemuria or Atlantis or alien beings or like all of these different dynamics that we could chat about here, um, which have evidence. I mean, even if you go to Egypt, there is so much evidence in so many different places that are, you could say it's a figment of our imagination, or did it really happen, or was it really there? And is there a reason we are tapping into these things now? Is there a reason why awareness is showing up about aliens, that actually, this isn't really a crazy, outlandish thing that we've been told for an awfully long time? That there really was. And so if we entertain those ideas, what about entertaining ideas of how much potential that we have within us? Much more than I truly believe we've tapped into yet. But this is where we're going. This is what we get to discover. And the more we play with it, the more we do discover deeper understanding of ourselves and who we are and how we are as an energetic being and what we are capable of. Anyway, with that fun feeling, I'll leave it with you for today. But feel free to subscribe, follow along. Like I said, if there's somebody that you feel would love to just follow along, feel free to follow or share this channel with them. This space is for a circle. I've got a lot of friends currently that are colleagues that are in this space that are starting to hold women's circles. So this isn't about a women's circle so much as it is just a circle that is open to anyone that feels called. And it's a sacred circle because it's for us to discover. It's for you to, or for us to hold space for each other. So it's a sacred circle for spiritual warriors, for anyone that is on this path, that is feeling called to understand more of themselves, to awaken to themselves, to feel into who they truly are. Anyway, more to come. And if you have any questions, if you have any things you'd like to chat about, I'm all about it. So drop it in the comments below, like, share, and follow along, subscribe, and we will see you again next time. Bye now.